Okay, just to start with, I've been doing Compulsories and Short program focus meetings all year, and I think maybe three-quarters of you have already gone through many of the things that we've done at provincial levels and at Canadian team trials. But I just want to be able to put it out just a little bit different at this time. As you know, we have a change in the Compulsories and Short program on just proficiency and not doing violations anymore. And it's too bad that in some cases that we had misunderstandings about what the violations we were doing. However, WTF has gone that direction. So now that's what we are working on. So looking at in compulsory, continually adding on to the proficiency. And sometimes be able to do that at the same time, of course, when you see deficiencies, that's going to lower it. So it's like a roller coaster type thing in your mind when you're going through it, what they're doing well and what they are doing with deficiencies of what they're doing. So I have to remind you again, though, there is a 2-point penalty for a drop, complete. If there's a drop on the entrance before the nucleus of the compulsory, then it's a maximum of 0.5. And if it's at the end of it, it's a 1 point. Okay, so in the nucleus, it's a 2-point penalty. So just to remind you, the penalties are still there. Now, just to make it a little bit different, I want to split you up into little groups, and I'm going to ask you to things that are a deficiency that's bringing the score down, or what you are looking at as being the proper proficiency. And remember that the proficiency is the proper technique of baton and body of the written descriptions of the compulsories and short program. Okay, so you could be very proficient doing a two-spin with your arms here on your shoulders instead of on your hips, but remembering that that's not the written description, so it wouldn't have full proficiency for that. So things like that you need to pick out as well. So what I've got you to do Okay, I want to put a couple things that's really obvious in the last few years that and so it's showing up in our Canadians as well, and that is that some of the errors that is happening, or we can't call it an error, but certainly having a problem in the compulsories is because they really think that they're going to get a lot more credit for speed, and of course it will if it's high proficiency with the speed. But in order to get the speed, what they're doing is they're making smaller flourishes to start with. The whips are getting tighter. It's continuously pushing the speed to the point where because they're pushing speed in their mind, it's also tightening up the grips, and it's causing lack of fluidity or the consistency of the speed. All kinds of things. So speed's good. It's more proficient, long as they're doing it as it should be done, just like what you were working on. The fullness of everything. Do it as it is written description, and it's got, if the one's faster, if they're both equal on philosophy, on that, and one is faster than the other, they should get a higher score. But in most of the cases, it's going the other way, and especially in the good and excellent range, that's where they're really trying to push the speed way too early. And that's the way they should be doing in practice to get the speed, but it should be, the compulsories that we look at it's a training situation for new people, new ones coming into our organization and lower levels of coming into compulsories. And they should, on their skill level, it should be just easy. Feel soft, like all the soft catches, not reaching and grabbing for them, and those kinds of things are so common because they're a little bit above their skills. Okay, I've had.
Ready, music. Thank you, athletes.
I think it was quite obvious that she was higher, which is kind of odd for number one, because sometimes we have that difficult to do, but we have it at a 5, which is between low good 4.6 to 5.2. Sorry? No, I said her contact material was so much better than her rolls and aerials. She started off so much better, and then in the number 4, she went to mid good, a 5.8, which is a 6.1 to a 7. And then on the next one, where we had her on a 3.5 minus 2, brought her down to a 1.5. Yeah, on the first two. So I'm just trying to see it again. Where were you? 4. What levels did we give on that one? The first one? 4.3? 5? Right. What we saw, she turned out in 4th position was out, and she had a little bit on the crossover. It wasn't crossover well, but that's why she's mid. When we're just looking at proficiency now, like she could be doing more plie. In second, the baton has fluidity, coordinated. Um, so you have to be careful, I think, with the new system. We're really just looking at what they're doing well, and so how many things did she not do well to bring her below a mid-average, right? Do we have any, like, what did we overreact on some of that? Yes, her body is weak. And that's why she has trouble with the rolls and the aerials. But there was coordination and posture. Okay. We seem to be having a problem, and I think Canada has to stay with this. Um, when I did the U.S. team trials, the first year I did their team trials, there seemed to be a big discussion that if you did not, we used that box, which we often use, but if you look at the print of the compulsory, it doesn't say anything about a box. It just says that it's above the shoulder and near the ear. So the box did come into place. We talk about that all the time with WTF. But if it's a blind, it's still a blind catch if it's out of the box, but it's just poor deficiency. And what caused that? What was the cause? Placement of the baton. So that was the aerial that caused the problem, and that was the proficiency part. That was bad. Somebody who is very proficient has the ability to realize that at that point that aerial was placed wrong. Still can do it blind without seeing the baton to make the catch. A lower level, it would be a drop. So we shouldn't be giving, should be a violation when we had violations. And now on this, it's the aerial that is creating the proficiency problem, or adding it to it. So to be not a blind would be a head catch when they go like this, or if they look over the left shoulder and then catch, they saw it. So if they see the baton before the catch, then yes, that's the penalty. But it shouldn't have been, and obviously some of the countries are using that as violations. We're addressing things differently, and that's one of the problems that we're having with that. So I hate to have to put that up, but I know in the United States, like Ashley, Jackie sent out to Jenna and I and all the other judges that are judging at Worlds as well, and mentioned about the problem of the violations. And she was saying it was a violation, and it was double ding. But I did email back and said, Jackie, that's what we're concerned about, because really it is, as long as it's a blind, it's just, proficiency, it's not a violation. Right. Yeah. So that one seems to be the main thing, and also pushing the big things that it's a problem. Okay, thank you. So don't be afraid. Make sure when you're doing the compulsory, each compulsory, like as though it's the only one they ever did for you. Don't go by that first one and then keep in that same range, because some athletes with either low level or a high level is proficient all the way through, both the same equal skills. But often their modes are different. So don't be afraid to make a big jump or go a lot lower and show each on that particular compulsory, that's what your proficiency was. Don't go with because you start with a 3, stay with 3 all the way through, is not giving fair and making sure that they show where their strengths and weaknesses on their modes too. Okay, so let's try one now in short program. Slightly higher. There was some of the ones that he was sort of on the cusp of going up to the next level, but yeah, he's pretty consistent all the way through. It's lovely. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Understand that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. Wish we had more time because there's so many good discussions on some of those things, but hopefully give you some background. Things that we're kind of really looking at more a little differently this year. So good luck today.